Now, information is now created, communicated, and consumed on an industrial scale. Content from billions of sources is distributed via an array of channels to audiences all around the world and around the clock. But it's the speed, diversity, and volume of information that is rapidly becoming overwhelming. And the key is to discover and extract the best information from that vast quantity of data at the right time and from the most reliable sources. Sounds simple, right? But Signal AI is an artificial intelligence-powered media monitoring, reputation management and market intelligence provider. But that's not all. It's ranked as one of the UK's fastest-growing companies by the Financial Times. Essentially, Signal are building solutions that complement the human expertise within any organisation, but with artificial intelligence. And solutions that can expand a team's knowledge with up-to-the-minute information and supplement their processing capacity by trawling through millions and millions of data and content sources for them. So I recently learned that Signal AI has opened offices in New York and Hong Kong and is also emerging as a leading authority in distilling facts in an era of fragmented news sources. So for those reasons alone, I'm quite excited to get them on the show today. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to London so we can speak with Signal AI's founder, David Benningson, who's going to provide his unique insight on how machine learning software is rapidly changing monitoring services for government, legal industry, finance, advertising, and beyond. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Hi, I'm David Benningson. I'm the CEO and founder of a business called Signal AI. Signal's been around for about 6 years. I founded the business in London in a garage with my co-founder, Dr. Miguel Martinez, who's our chief data scientist. And together we've been building this business for the last 6 years, which essentially aggregates a lot of the world's information. We bring together most of the world's news in over 200 markets and over 100 languages. We combine that with a lot of the world's regulatory data, some social media, a lot of the world's broadcasts, and increasingly a lot of alternative data sets from the internet. And then we apply machine learning and AI to transform that data from kind of unstructured text into structured insights that business leaders can use to make better decisions.
Founded the business in a garage. It's like an episode of Silicon Valley or like a Steve Jobs story.
Exactly. I often have to remind US investors that we also have garages here in the UK, although I pronounce them garages, of course, when talking to people from the States.
Absolutely. Now, Signal AI is an artificial intelligence powered media monitoring, reputation management and market intelligence provider. But can you help people listening understand how you're helping businesses with AI and also the kind of problems that you're solving for them? Because I think everyone hears that buzzword AI, but it's about the real problems that you're actually solving, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, ultimately, that technology is a tool to deliver value, and that's the way we think about machine learning and artificial intelligence more generally. I mean, I think the first problem that we're solving for big businesses is we're just bringing together vast amounts of the world's most diverse data and putting it all into one place, or putting it all into one platform for them. And then essentially through the application of machine learning, we're turning all of this morass, this huge amount of information and this huge diverse set of data into something that they can actually use to drive better decision making. So practically what that means is we're enabling organizations and business leaders to monitor, track, and listen to any changes, emerging threats, emerging risks that are happening outside of their organization and that are being discussed in the world and across the globe. And then we're using this machine learning to be able to derive insights from that data that might help them drive better decisions. So if they are a communications director who is tasked with managing the reputation of their brand and their business, we are alerting them of any conversations about the brand, about their competition, about their CEO and their key spokespeople. And then we're enabling them over time to track the trends and changes in those conversations to understand how those conversations might impact those businesses historically, but also enabling them to look further afield in the future to try and preempt and predict what might happen next as well.
And it often feels that we're all bombarded with data and there's almost this white noise online now. And for brands and businesses, of course. There's literally thousands and thousands of conversations taking place every day about their brand. And as a result of that, Signal AI is emerging as a leading authority in actually distilling facts in this era of fragmented news sources. But can you expand on that a little and how you're actually doing it?
Yeah, so I think this challenge of information overload is an issue faced by almost every individual within every organization. I think there's a secondary challenge faced by big businesses as well, which is around information and domain knowledge being siloed and trapped. And Signal as a platform tries to address both of these issues through the application of machine learning. On one side, we're able to essentially kind of determine signal from noise through the use of our technology. And although we collect and amass vast amounts of the world's data, as I said, in many, many different languages and from many, many different types of data, what we're able to do through the machine learning is actually provide, highly relevant, highly meaningful and impactful information to our customers, and filter out all of that misinformation and all of that noise on their behalf. The second thing we do is we enable our customers to actually train up our machine learning models. And so as they use the tool, the system and the technology is adapting to their specific needs. So a kind of consumer analogy would be, as you interact with Netflix, their recommendation engine gets smarter and they're able to hopefully recommend you more relevant movies and content. Well, in a similar way, Signal takes all of this data, pulls it all into one platform. And then as our customers engage with our software and as they use our tools and products in a more integrated fashion, the system evolves, gets smarter and more relevant. And over time, we're delivering more and more hyper relevant information and more meaningful insights that they can use to drive decision making across their organization.
And there are elements of tech fatigue out there, and there will be some people listening all over the world that thinking that machine learning and artificial intelligence are buzzwords. But like you said, you're focusing on delivering real value. So can you tell me more about how machine learning software is rapidly changing monitoring services for so many areas such as government, legal, industry, finance and advertising, and so many more, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there is huge amounts of misinformation and a lot of buzz around these technologies without vast amounts of deep understanding. One of the things we think about is the vertical application of these technologies. So rather than machine learning for machine learning's sake, it's really about using these technologies and tools to actually sit within a professional's workflow and actually enable them to accomplish tasks and augment their activities in a more efficient and effective manner. And that's the way that we think about applying these technologies. It's not about automation of jobs. It's about augmentation and really automating the kind of low-level manual tasks to free these professionals up to do higher value, more strategic work. So, for example, one of the applications of our product and technology is in the kind of regulatory compliance space. And historically, big professional service firms, Deloitte, EY, major law firms around the world were spending vast amounts of time just sifting through changes in regulation around the globe and, wasting these professionals who are domain experts on actually just kind of reading and formatting and then sharing these updates with their end clients. Signal takes care of that in a completely automated fashion. And what that enables us to do is free those professionals up to actually understand what the impact of those changes in regulation might mean for their clients and start thinking more about advisory and strategizing about how they're going to respond to that. So we really think about using these tools as a way of augmenting these professionals and freeing them up versus trying to wholly automate the tasks that they do end to end.